today we're doing one of my wife's favorite dishes. It's spiced tofu. A very easy dish. You just need some store-bought tofu. You choose any brand as long as it's fresh. You're gonna need, for breading, just 1 part cornstarch to 3 parts bread flour or regular flour. And then you need about 2 cups of vegetable oil. Make sure it's up to high, the heat is up to high. And you're gonna need some bowl, stainless steel bowl or any kind of bowl, and you put some paper towels. And of course a slotted spoon just to fish out the tofu. So let's get started. Unpack the tofu. Throw away that liquid, the tofu. And then you're gonna wanna slice the tofu in cubes. No clear-cut way of doing it. Just go ahead and see what kind of size you want. I like to do this way. You cut the tofu block in half and then cut the halves in 3s. That's a good size for me. Then you cut it again crosswise. This, like that. And you're good to go. And then you gotta check if the oil is hot. If it's pretty hot, you're gonna see some bubbles forming, then you're good to go. Mix the flour with the cornstarch. You can whisk it in, or you can just use a fork. Cornstarch is gonna give it that extra crunch, so that when you bite into the tofu, it's soft inside and really crunchy outside. Okay? And then, it's very simple. Just dip one of the tofu pieces in the flour and cornstarch mixture and put them in to fry. Some people add egg as a binder, but my wife doesn't like too much egg, too much fat in her meals, so we're gonna do this lean and just use flour and cornstarch. And the tofu is wet enough to allow the flour mixture to adhere to it, so probably not gonna have too much of a problem with the flour sticking to the tofu. So just do everything. Alright, so you can see the tofu just happily frying away, and if it's still noisy, you can hear a lot of that bubbles fizzing about, and you know it's not done. You know the tofu is done frying once everything starts to become quiet. It just stops frizzing and stops making bubbles, and it just suddenly becomes a little bit more quiet than this time. Then you know the tofu is almost done, and you're ready to fish them out. But as it is, still pretty noisy, it's still cooking. You gotta cook it properly, you give it that crunchy feel to it. You've got to weigh that. All right, and at this point in time, you can notice the significant change in the sound of the frying tofu. It's a lot more quiet, there's less bubbles, then you know that the tofu is ready to be fished out. So turn off the heat and just fish them out one at a time. Be very careful. You don't want to burst that tofu because sometimes the flour mixture doesn't bind properly with the tofu. There are some spaces here and there. And sometimes as you're fishing them out, tofu tends to burst or just break up and it doesn't look good on the plate. But if you're just eating it on your own, it doesn't really matter how it looks like. So just be careful. Don't spill any of the oil on yourself. All right, once the paper towels have absorbed the oil, take out the paper towels and you're ready to mix in your spices. Start with some black pepper. My wife is half Vietnamese, so she loves things spicy. She likes her tofu very spicy. I'm gonna put some salt. I'm gonna put some garlic. Cayenne pepper. Some paprika. And possibly the most important ingredient in this dish, some crushed red pepper. You can chop up some chilies if you like using crushed red pepper. So we're gonna put about 2 teaspoons, thereabouts. Okay. And then we're just gonna mix it in. You can use a spatula if you want, but I just like rolling the bowl. So give it a few tosses like that, and you're ready to go. Put it in a bowl. Chilies in. There you go. Some nice spiced tofu. Very simple, very healthy. Anybody can do it at home. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, thanks for watching.